President Buhari launches APC campaign manual. Christian Next Level says next 4 years are critical in sustaining the building of a new Nigeria.
Past few years have put us in good stead to press on the next level of building an even stronger nation for our people.
Presidential spokesman describes APC victories in Katsina, Kwara and Bauchi by-elections as show of support for Buhari.
Nigerian Air Force destroys terrorist base on the fringes of Lake Chad.
And on Good Morning Nigeria today, our focus is on local government autonomy.
It is an open secret in Nigeria that local governments are mere appendages of state governments.
Of course, Kirian, and this is quite contrary to the various reforms that the country has had, beginning with the 1976 local government reforms, which positioned the local government as a third and separate tier of government closest to the people and therefore designed to bring development in the form of basic amenities. That's talking about water supply, healthcare, basic education, rural infrastructure, to mention a few.
You are indeed right, Kingsley. But in the course of time and over the years, the last governors have latched on the joint account syndrome to superintend over funds meant for local governments. The joint account practice allows state governments to receive monthly allocations from the federal government for onward disbursements to local governments.
That's it, Kirian. But the local government administrators have long complained that the state-local government joint account practice is undemocratic and also prone to abuse by governors, as most local governments in the country are at the beck and call of the state governors.
In fact, Kingsley, if you go by the level of underdevelopment in the grassroots, it is glaring that the local governments, 774 of them nationwide, have been financially incapacitated to deliver on their constitutional mandate.
That's right, Kirian, but perhaps maybe we'll make an exception for obvious reasons, that there's no governor in the FCT, and you have 6 of the area councils that make up the 774. But of course, as we all know, many of the other local governments, that's the 774 minus 6, merely exist to pay salaries, and sadly, a lot of them cannot even pay salaries promptly. Now, all of these factors over the years have heightened the clamor for local government autonomy.
Yes, indeed. And the National Assembly, while carrying out constitutional amendments last year, passed the Local Government Autonomy Bill, which is expected to be endorsed by 2/3 of state assemblies in the country. And that means 24 state houses of assembly are required to give their nod to local government autonomy.
Yeah, but so far, only 9 state houses of assembly, that was as at March this year, had assented to the local government autonomy bill, while 3 other state houses of assembly, and these include Edo, Rivers, and Imo, have opposed it. And this implies that 24 state legislatures in the country are still far from taking a position on local government autonomy. And
many will be questioning why rejecting it by a House of Assembly.
That's right. It's, well, they could claim in the first instance the exercise of their legislative authority. But those 3 states I've just mentioned, that's to say Edo, Rivers, and Imo, were voted against local government autonomy.
Well, we're talking about a separate tier of government here, and when they are not financially buoyant, what would they do?
That's such a very important question you have raised, Kirian.
Yes, and well, with the local government autonomy bill survive legislative hurdles, what components of the bill will liberate local governments from the vicious grip of state governments? And how can the local governments in Nigeria be better positioned to deliver on their constitutional mandate? These are the issues our guests will examine as we discuss local government autonomy on Good Morning Nigeria today. Welcome to the program, broadcast on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. My name is Kirian Umayo.
And I'm Kingsley Osadolo. I join Kirian in also welcoming you to this edition of the program, in the course of which we shall have regular complimentary segments, including newspaper review, sports, business, and others. But in the meantime, we take the news highlights now with Najatu Tijani. Hi, Najatu. Good morning.
Good morning, Kirian and Kingsley. Thank you for joining us on the news segment. President Muhammadu Buhari has described the next 4 years as quite significant for Nigeria, as the people have a clear choice to either sustain the building of a new Nigeria or return to the nation's tainted past that only favored an opportunistic few. This was at the formal launch of the APC campaign manual, as well as the next level document, which captures the aspiration and projection of the governing party for the next 4 years. The president made a case for peaceful and decent campaigns by all candidates ahead of the general elections.
We are certain that these past few years have put us in good stead to press on the next level of building an even stronger nation for our people. We implemented a responsible and transparent fiscal plan for the challenging economic times that saw us doing more even with lesser oil revenues. Grand-scale corruption perpetrated at the highest level of government is now a thing of the past. The nation's wealth is now being invested in capital projects.
The launch of Next Level 2019 provided a veritable platform for ministers to showcase the achievements of President Muhammadu Buhari in the last 3.5 years, pointing to the prospect of more dividends of democracy.
It has laid the foundation for a prosperous Nigeria by studying her problems, providing homegrown solutions, developing policies and programs that will lift the citizenry out of poverty.
Power supply is growing at an average of 1,000 megawatt per annum over the with more to come, which when compared to the previous average of 250 megawatt per annum means that we are running faster than what we met.
With the commencement of campaigns for the 2019 presidential and National Assembly elections slated for February 16, 2019, some presidential candidates have commenced activities with a resolve to stick to issue-based campaigns.
I call upon political parties and candidates to strictly adhere to these dates.
We have a lot more in common. To continue to work together in order to give birth to a nation of our collective dreams.
Meanwhile, following the commencement of the 2019 election campaigns, the United States and European Union say they will closely monitor the campaigns and election process as friends of Nigeria. A statement from the Public Affairs section of the United States Diplomatic Mission says the winner of the 2019 elections is for Nigerian people to decide, but reiterated that its concern is to see a process leading to free, fair, transparent and peaceful elections. The statement implores voters to use their democratic right to vote while hoping to see greater participation of women, youth and people living with disabilities. It further urges all involved to refrain from using hate speech and to take a firm stance against violence. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has announced results for the by-election to fill vacant federal constituency seats in Bauchi, Katsina and Kwara states. INEC confirmed Rashid Olauye as the APC as the winner of the by-election for the House of Representatives seat for Ekiti, Urepodun, Isin, Okeero Federal Constituency in Kwara State, just as Abubakar Yahya of the APC was declared winner of the by-election in Katsina State. In Bauchi State, Yusuf Nuhu of the APC emerged victorious after final result was announced by the INEC returning officer, Professor Ahmed Tijani Fagam. In the same vein, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says the victory of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in the by-election held yesterday in Kwara State is an indication that the people of the state are ready for progressive change. He stated this in Oro while addressing party loyalists who staged a victory rally at his home. In the meantime, Nigerians have been advised to come out and protect the developmental legacies of President Muhammadu Buhari by voting for continuity in the forthcoming elections. This came to the fore at an event organized by the All Progressives Congress supporters in Abuja.
We are going to unfold, we are going to speak to the nation, we are going to report to the nation on all of the things that the president has achieved. The records of the president, whether in respect of the roads, electricity, that's power supply, the work in railway, housing, peace, war against corruption, they will speak for the president.
And to security matters now. The Air Task Force of Operation Laifia Douole has conducted airstrikes leading to the destruction of a former tactical headquarters of the Al-Barnawi faction of Boko Haram terrorist sect at Sabon Tumbu in the Lake Chad region. Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ibikunle Daramola, says the attack was conducted based on credible intelligence reports, indicating that the terrorists were regrouping. Following a confirmatory intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance mission, the Air Task Force detailed an Alpha Jet aircraft to attack the settlement with direct hits, obliterating the identified building and neutralizing its terrorist occupants. With the continuous success recorded in Operation Green Sweep, the Nigerian Air Force says it will continue to strengthen the synergy with ground forces for a total mop-up of terrorists in the northeast. And that's the news for now. Good Morning Nigeria continues with Kirian and Kingsley after the break.
Unemployment, notably youth unemployment, features strongly in our party's manifesto. We intend to attack the problem promptly through revival of agriculture.
The 30K is going a long way. Actually, I bought an acre of land for 60K like 2012, and presently I have a cassava farm and a yam farm.
Reorganized, trained, and fully equipped, we are the new improved Nigeria Police Force. We fight crime. We bust syndicates. Whatever the crime, wherever the hideout, the Nigeria Police Force will get you busted. Stop kidnapping, armed robbery, murder, pipeline vandalism, and other criminal activities. Be productive. Be security conscious. Join the police force to secure your life and property. This message is from the Nigeria Police Force Public Relations Department.
Team huddle. But we lost. Don't be tired, guys. This isn't a loss. It's a practice for winning.
Nothing makes a mother prouder than seeing her child growing up. But I know as he learns to lead, he'll face even more dirt, germs, and risk of illness.
That's why in changing seasons, you need strong Dettol protection. Because Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
My name is Lukman Animashan. I'm a former worker of Nigeria Limited. In 2004, former President Obasanjo liquidated the airline, and since then we've been waiting for benefits. But in 2015, when President Muhammadu Buhari came in, he promised to pay us, and today I'm happy that 5,996 members of ex-workers of Nigeria are receiving their money. I'm also a beneficiary. The good thing about what President Buhari did is that he promised that the over 800 people that died in the process of waiting for this money, their next of kin will be paid. And as I'm talking to you, they have been paid.
You in the air-conditioned office with the itchy throat. Strepsils. Girl in the spotlight with the raspy throat. Strepsils. You in the pollution. Yes, you. Dry throat. Strepsils. Hello in the downpour with the scratchy throat. Take Strepsils. Strepsils, with its soothing medicinal ingredients, will heal the harm done to your throat from external factors. Strepsils. Strepsils. Strepsils, for a dry, itchy, raspy, scratchy throat.
Who am I? I'm a caregiver, a slayer, a boss lady, a foodie. I am the chief quality inspector and chief organizer. And when I'm cooking with my Maggie Star, I become a kitchen grand master.
Every day, you choose to make the difference. That's why you choose Maggie Star, made from natural soya beans and the other carefully selected ingredients to help you cook the difference.
I am the chief enjoyment officer, and I'm the magnet that brings my family together. Need I say more? But best of all, I love what I do.
With Maggie, cook the difference.
What's up?
His friends didn't come.
Hey, let's practice.
But you're going out.
Don't worry about me.
Nothing satisfies a mother more than seeing a child grow up. But I know as he sweats, he'll face the risk of germs which can cause skin irritation.
That's why you need the new best ever Dettol Cool. Its new advanced formulation with extra menthol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs and gives your family icy cool freshness.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
Now let's go to business. Industry players advocate a paradigm shift in financing renewable energy in Nigeria. Details on business news with Chimobi Water Energy.
Despite the huge business opportunities embedded in the renewable energy sector, some climate change experts have advocated a sustainable climate change policy that will ensure a robust investment in the sector propelled by the huge energy deficit experienced in the country and Africa at large. With the international community adopting renewable energy solutions, the opportunities in the market cannot be underestimated, hence the need for local industries in Nigeria to be well positioned to provide the needed revolution in the sector.
Trillions of dollars of clean energy finance out there. Also, given the teeming population of our country, people who do not have access to energy, is perhaps one of the biggest business opportunity now in this country. I would like to see entrepreneurs, people who are very enterprising, getting into the renewable energy business in this country. Nigeria recently launched a green climate change bond, and they've raised about 11 billion naira. We need to make sure that we invest that wisely to help to catalyze this renewable energy revolution I'm talking about.
Meanwhile, as at close of trade week on 16th of November 2018, market capitalization increased to 493.05 billion naira from last week's 487.98 billion naira, which shows a 1.24% growth in capitalization. Also, the unlisted securities index for the week ending 16th November 2018 recorded a 1.24% increase from 702.12 points to 710.84 points. With business news, I'm Chimobi Walter Naji.
Thank you, Chimobi, for that business package. Newspaper review is next for us on Good Morning Nigeria.
Our newspaper reviewer, Bayo Atebi, is here. Bayo, good morning and welcome.
Thank you, Kirian. Good morning. Good morning, Kinsley.
All right,
good
Bayo.
morning, Nigeria. Congratulations to the Super Eagles.
That's right.
For qualifying.
Yeah, well,
let's look at this issue of apology from the referee. If that is true, what does it connote? In terms of denying the goal, saying that it was an error.
Yes, the offside. It was the goal he ruled as offside was actually a goal because the chap was on onside. But then error is part of the game, so you can't reverse the decision that had been taken. Luckily for us, it was a draw, but we still qualified.
We qualified. I mean, it's a very significant thing, ex post facto, that there's an acknowledgement that there was an error. You find it from time to time. Match officials, were admitting that they had been in error. That's why there's always been a clamor for the introduction of the VAR.
That's
the video assistant referee.
In all
yes, Premier League is introducing it this year, and Confederation of African Football is also
next season
looking on the horizon.
Yes, next season for. Even though there could also be some contentious circumstances, but the VAR to a greater extent reduces that. If you recall, there was that penalty. Was it a penalty? Yes, it was a penalty that France had against Croatia in the final of the World Cup. That turned around the tenor and texture of that particular match. Kurian, let's begin.
All right, now let's go to the national dailies for today. I have the New Telegraph here. Let's get the first story on the above the nameplate of a New Telegraph. Banks confiscate 79 filling stations, 9 tank farms over death. With a rider, oil marketers, depot owners plead for 800 billion subsidy payment. And now there are other stories here. Banks 2017 non-performing loans hit 2.36 trillion naira, says the NDIC. It's on page 6. Serap seeks probe of campaign funds claims by Saraki. That's on page 8. And sex for marks, ex-OAU professor for arraignment today. It's on page 37. Then gunmen kidnap 45, collect 15 million to free twin sisters in Zamfara State. It's on page 36. Now the main headline on the New Telegraph. 2019 fireworks begin with 5 riders. Buhari, Atiku is deceitful, playing politics with restructuring. And from Atiku, you are good at making promises but don't deliver. PDP, Nigeria can't survive another 4 years under the president. President to politicians, don't set Nigeria ablaze over polls. US, UK, EU, others demand fair campaign, caution INEC. The stories can be found on pages 5, 7, and 11 of the New Telegraph. Kinsley.
All right, Kirian, thanks a lot. The lead stories for both the Daily Trust and the Punch newspapers are on the former flag of the Presidential and National Assembly campaigns for the 2019 elections. Daily Trust has it this way with a kicker. Buhari launches campaign manual, says, let's not set Nigeria ablaze. And you can see the photograph there at the launch of the manual. Next level, that took place yesterday. Now, for the Punch newspaper, it comes also with a kicker. 2019, Buhari, Atiku unveil plans as campaigns begin. Now, there are other headlines there on the front page of, excuse me, the Punch newspaper. An earpiece beside the nameplate. Army uncovers new terrorist group in Northeast. And gunmen murder Abuja APC chieftain, injure wife and children. And Suswam hails Autonomy for defending anti-grazing law. That's page 58. And on page 56, toddler, ANEC worker and car member die in Lokoja accident. Bio.
Well, very sad one there, the accident that claimed the life of a youth copper and others. The other good news, however, is coming from Zamfara. You know Husseina and Hassana, who have come to be known as the Zamfara twins. They were visiting their elder sister Sumaya in Dauran in Zurmi local government when they were kidnapped. The kidnappers demanded about 150 million. And it became a subject on the social media. People were clamoring for their release, and they were also calling for contribution to secure their release. But from all indications, they were released yesterday, and therefore their marriage plans, which were set for next month, will now go ahead. However, in the meantime, they have been given medical attention to ensure that their health-wise they are all right. But there are strong indications that ransoms of about 50 million were paid before they were released. Talking about campaign now, by INEC timetable, 90 days to the presidential election is the flag off of the presidential campaign. And the President Muhammadu Buhari yesterday cautioned, please don't set Nigeria ablaze. President Buhari was launching the official guideline book, which is called The Next Level of the All Progressive Congress. President Muhammadu Buhari enjoined all candidates contesting the election not to set Nigeria ablaze. And he says, I implore candidates to go about campaign peacefully and decently. We have no other country. Let us not set it ablaze because of politics. Speaking at the State House where the launch took place, he tagged the campaign Next Level. Nigeria is faced with a choice to keep building a new Nigeria or making a break from its tainted past that had favored opportunistic few. The secretary to the government of the Federation, who also made pronouncement there, said the federal said that we have 90 days to election and our next leader is to emerge at the end of that 90 days. Said Nigeria will make the right choice of returning our leaders to power. He alluded to the 3 by-elections which took place in Bauchi, Kwara, and also Katsina as showing the direction. The Next Level is the title of the achievement and projections of the Buhari administration. Meanwhile, there were 3 by-elections over the weekend on Saturday to fill in the Federal House of Representatives seats that were left. All progressive candidate Yusuf Nuhu polled 22,317 against PDP's Shehu Umar of 18,235 to win the federal constituency Toro in Bauchi State. In Katsina, Abubakar Kusada of the All Progressive Congress polled 48,518 to the PDP's Abdul Samad Abdullahi 20,193 to clinch the ticket for the Kusada, Kankia, and Ingawa constituency. And in Kwara State, the Irepodun Okero Ekitia, federal constituency of Kwara State, was won by Rahim Ajulo Okwen of the All Progressive Congress. He pulled 21,236 to beat Sahid Alatise of the People's Democratic Party, who polled 18,095 votes.
All right, Bayo, thanks a lot. Let's quickly take other headlines from the Daily Trust newspaper. First, we go to the foot of the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. The story about the death of the INEC workers and COM member is already reported in other papers, and then we also have that. Right at the foot of the front page of Daily Trust, Buhari, Obasanjo, and Atiku for Jonathan's book launch tomorrow. That's taking place in Abuja. That's details can be found on page 5. And CBN released 15.8 billion naira in 3 months to importers. That headline is also there. And then immediately below the nameplate of the Daily Trust, that's further up now, we have Export Promotion Council fires 4 aggrieved staff, but with a rider sack not effective. That's according to the board chair. Very quickly, before Kirian takes the editorial, let's go to page 4. of the Daily Trust. There's a photograph there with a caption on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And if the camera can zoom in on that, we see that I don't know the caption. It says, troop of 24 support engineer regiment in Abakaliki rescue a malnourished child. If we come back to that before I take that again, that's right. Now, it says troops of 24 support engineering regiment in Abakaliki rescuing a malnourished child locked up in a house on Onuwakbu in Izi local government area of Ebonyi State. Now, the child was found sitting on a charm, and the soldiers burnt the charm and took him to their medical reception station for treatment.
See, this is very, very pathetic. Bayo, what do you make of this kind of situation?
What can one make out of this? Just sheer crudity. You put a child on a charm to do what? To make money or to do what? But the good thing is that the soldiers at least didn't have any fear of the supposed charm, and they were able to rescue the child. Such things are going on behind the scene. Unfortunately, sale of human body parts and demeaning human beings is becoming the order of the day, all in the course of rituals. I think our generation should grow beyond that. Absolutely. But there's this interesting political story which I think we should all be interested in. Outgoing governor of Osun State says that he did not take salaries for the 8 years that he was the governor. He says that I have no money, and while he was governor, he said the state feeds me, it fuels my car, and provides me accommodation. Therefore, I didn't need to take any money. And he said for 8 years, he didn't take any salary. He said, I have no money and no bank account, and I have no house except the house I built before I became governor. He is to hand over on the 27th of November, but he is moving out of government house tomorrow to allow the renovation for the person who will succeed him. And he says if he is given an opportunity, he will do everything he did the same way he did it before.
He wants a third term.
That's an exception. That's an exceptional Nigerian.
Fine, he didn't collect his salaries. What happened to the salaries? Went back to the government treasury?
Exactly, because if he's not paid, he didn't collect it, so he's still in the
but he had no cabinet for a long time, which was unconstitutional. Yes.
Anyway, let's not go there for now. Let's get to the editorial taken from the Daily Sun newspaper. As the campaigns begin, a call for decorum. Now, with the commencement of the presidential campaigns for the 2019 general election, the time has come once again to make urgent demand for decency and decorum on the part of the political gladiators and their teaming supporters. We strongly demand for issue-based campaigns devoid of intemperate language, incendiary comments, and mudslinging. All right, and sadly, we have recently witnessed the use of foul language among some of the political actors in the pre-campaign outings, name-calling, finger-pointing, unsubstantiated and demeaning accusations and allegations have been rife. These should not be. They are reprehensible and condemnable. Bayo, let me stop here because the language power here may even confuse some of our viewers in terms of understanding, but the point has been made.
Yes, it's about campaign. But before that, let me quickly remind our viewers that our Super Falcons, for the first time, lost to South Africa yesterday 1-0. They were playing in the qualifying opening matches in the Women African Cup of Nations. South Africa's Bayana has played our Super Falcons 4 times. Our Super Falcons have won twice, and it's the first time the South Africans won. But however, if the Super Falcons can get their acts together and win their 2 matches, they are likely to qualify for the next round. Now coming to the editorial, it ties in with what the president said yesterday while launching the next level, and that is, don't set Nigeria ablaze. We are all concerned, and with 90 days is the rule. 90 days to election, that is when you can begin campaign. For presidential and National Assembly elections, the campaign started in earnest yesterday. For the governors and National State Assembly, that will be later in December, 90 days to that election. But the editorial is hammering on the fact that intemperate language should be avoided, and politicians should choose to not to make allegations, particularly unsubstantiated one, about their candidates. They should avoid reprehensible and condemnable language. However, they enjoin them to be concentrate on issue-based items and tell the electorate the issues, the promises, and what they can do. The editorial is also advising that candidates should not promise what they cannot fulfill, and they insist that INEC should make it a mandatory role to monitor campaigns and sanction those who violate campaigns. And added on to that, the regulatory agency, particularly those of the electronic media, there is an elaborate guideline by INEC about campaigns, and the Nigerian Broadcasting Code also has listed guidelines for campaigns, and they should be strictly enforced. On the side of the Nigerian Press Council too, it should do similar by enforcing the guideline of INEC guidelines on campaign for the newspapers as much as possible. Social media is all-comers game, but I think if the campaign itself is decent, then it will dovetail down the hill to all across. But the duty is on the media specifically. The politician is free to say whatever he can say on the political rostrum. It is when you bring it onto the media, that is when you are propagating hate speech and indecent campaign.
All right, Bayo, Kieran, I think that this is a subject that we will have to return to over and over again until the elections are over. Because it's a timely warning, a timely caution, and we do hope that we'll have the campaigns as civil as possible with a focus on issues. And you remember, Kieran, we've had the guests discuss this on Good Morning Nigeria. Okay, that's as much we can take. Bayo Atoyebe, we'd like to thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
We'll see you again tomorrow. All right, it's Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. We'll take a short break now. When we return, our topic is local government autonomy.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There's no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
To anyone who ever pushed me to go further. To anyone who ever gave me a hand up. To anyone who ever taught me anything I ever learned. To those who work together to set the bar higher. To those who give me the energy to go further. This is my team, and my team makes me.
Your perfect family is under threat by germs. Infectious diseases are now the world's biggest killer of adults and children. Every day, 16,000 children under the ages of 5 and thousands of adults die from infectious diseases. These infectious diseases are caused by germs. They are everywhere. An average human being comes in contact with over 1 million germs daily in unclean water, dirty surfaces, in the toilets, on cuts and wounds, on your clothes. Germs can cause deadly diseases like typhoid, diarrhea, flu, and cough. To protect your family from germs, use the power of Dettol's One Cup Flu for surface cleaning in your bathing water, in your laundry water, for first aid to protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol Sure. Endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
Use Dettol Skin Jelly, which protects against germs for a healthy, smooth skin every day.
Fake news which is shared for malicious purposes is a danger to our peace and security in Nigeria. Misinformation as fake news is a serious threat to our hard-earned democracy and promotes hatred and misunderstanding between our communities. We are all responsible for stopping the spread of fake news in its tracks. So, always check the source and credibility of any news item. Say no to fake news. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
Hold it! Me, I don't commot my hand from oil bunkering.
General, what you going to yarn? What did the yarn say? I don't understand though.
Because they spoil our water and our environment. And they cause our people serious harm. Militants say, you know who. Me, I not do again Sam. Because why? Change begins with me.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
What's up?
His friends didn't come.
Hey, let's practice.
But you're going out.
Don't worry about me.
Nothing satisfies a mother more than seeing a child grow up. But I know as he sweats, he'll face the risk of germs which can cause skin irritation.
That's why you need the new best ever Dettol Cool. Its new advanced formulation with extra menthol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs and gives your family icy cool freshness.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
All right, you're welcome back, but if you just joined us, it's Good Morning Nigeria. We're reaching you live on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. We are discussing this morning local government autonomy. And let's get this background down from our correspondent, Oyemi Ajayi, as a prompt for us to introduce our guests and begin the conversation.
Local government administration in Nigeria started in 1972 with the primary objective of bringing government closer to the people at the grassroots. Local government councils are to serve the people's interest in areas of social amenities such as the road construction, public markets, healthcare facilities, motor parks, basic education, water supply, and other incentives of good governance and development. To make local government viable, several reforms were made in 1976 which recognized local governments as the third tier of government as captured in the 1979, 1989 and 1999 constitutions. To strengthen their financial autonomy for optimum performance, funds were set aside for local governments from the Federation account. Again, to make them financially independent, the funding increased from 10% in 1989 to 15% in 1992 and 20.60% in 2008. Sadly, despite the constitutional provisions and periodic reforms, local governments are still controlled by various state governments, making their administrators puppets to state governors. The trend has crippled grassroots development as basic amenities and infrastructure that ought to be provided by the local governments are lacking or in shambles. Recently, the National Assembly yielded to the clamor for independence of the third tier of government from state government control by passing the Local Government Autonomy Bill into law. President Muhammadu Buhari, on his part, has described the passage of the bill as an indication that his administration had gradually begun the country's restructuring. But 2/3 of the state's houses of assembly are required to ratify the bill. So far, only 9 state houses of assembly have supported the bill, while 3 have opposed it. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo, while condemning these developments, said any state government working against the local government autonomy bill is an enemy of the people. With the support from major stakeholders in the national development, what needs to be done to ensure the support of other state houses of assembly to support the bill. And as much as the clamor for the support of the bill has continued to increase, what measures are to be put in place to cut off exploitation and corruption? Guests on Good Morning Nigeria will provide answers to these questions and others shortly.
Thank you very much, Oyemi Ajayi, for that elaborate background. Joining us in the studios now to discuss this issue in greater detail, would like to welcome Honorable Abdullahi Adamu Candido. He is Chairman, Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC, right here with us in the Federal Capital Territory. Honorable Candido, pleasure to have you with us on Good Morning Nigeria.
Good morning. Good morning, Nigerians.
Also here with us is Honorable Phyllis Ahaboy, is a former National President Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ALGON, and of course, in that capacity, he was also chairman of East and West Local Government Area in Edo State. Honorable Ahaboy, pleasure to have you with us this morning.
Thank you very much. Welcome, Nigerians.
Okay. And from our Enugu Network Center, we have Honorable Nebe, former Speaker, Anambra State House of Assembly, and now member representing Awka North and South Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives. Honorable Nebe was also a former local government secretary and member of the 2014 National Conference. Many thanks to you for joining us from Enugu, Honorable Nebe. Honorable Nebe.
My brother.
All right, gentlemen, you are welcome to this edition of Good Morning Nigeria, in which we are looking at local government autonomy in Nigeria. Well, since the return to democratic rule in 1999, the issue of local government autonomy has been so contentious. And at this point in time, we are yet to get to a point where Nigeria will return to true 3 tiers of government in terms of administration. So, gentlemen, let me begin with you. What do you make of the viability of local government in Nigeria based on what's on ground at the moment?
Well, the importance of local government administration cannot be overemphasized. Local government administration, as you know, is the government that is very close to the people. And as far as the ordinary Nigerian is concerned, the government they know is actually the local government. When they have an electricity problem, they will run to the local government because the state is far from them and the federal government is kilometers away from them. So it is very important that we have a local government that is working. But unfortunately, what we have today, probably apart from FCT, where their method of coming to office is quite different from the state branches of local government, is a very unfortunate situation where the local government are not able to carry out their mandates. And from the Constitution, there are responsibilities that be assigned to local government. And I'm sure local administrator would probably be able to do them. But unfortunately, the financial autonomy and the administrative autonomy is not there. And as such, they are not able to carry out on their mandates. I was a past local government chairman, and I know what I mean when I feel that what is expected of local government administrations or administrators, they are not able to do them based on the structure that's presently on ground. So it's very unfortunate.
What is the structure on ground?
Well, presently, the structure on ground is where you have to, for instance, when you need to do some projects, it's beyond you. Like when I became a chairman of my local government, and by the confidence my co-chairman have in me, I was also the ALGON chairman in Edo State. The project in excess of 2 million, we need to seek approval from the state government. So which means any project that's above 2 million, we have to go to the state government to seek approval. So immediately I became chairman. So within the first 36 months, it was difficult to operate. All the council chairmen, all the council, we have to send their files to the state government office. And at times, you will look for a file, you will not see your file again. So it got to a state that I had to approach the governor. Then Senator Osumbo was the governor of Edo State. I have to approach him that local government is not working based on this and that. And he actually agreed with me. So he now asked for my suggestion. I suggested that we need to increase approval limit of local government to at least 10 million. So I will be able to do some project within local government without making reference to the state. But the governor then saw it differently from my angle. I said, no, we cannot be moving from 2 million to 10 million. So the maximum he thinks we can move to 100% increase, we can move to 4 million. But I look at the economic situation, I knew that to even renovate schools or build some classroom block, 4 million cannot still do it. But because of my relationship with the Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, because the law will eventually be passed by the State House of Assembly, I also met with the Speaker and the principal officers of the House of Assembly, which I also approached them, and they agreed with me that it would be reasonable to increase it to 10 million. Eventually, we had 10 million, and then we were able to approve some project within the local government. But however, project in excess of 10 million after that period, that project I had wanted to do, I said that it was more than 10 million, so we need to also seek approval. So I am the one with my people. I know their challenges and all that, just like every other local government. So once we know the project we want to do, you still need to go to the state government. Your governor may not be from your local government. You are the one who knows the pains and the needs of your people. So once you agree on project you want to do with your people, you can go to the state government to not be approved. There are some of the projects I sent to the state government then, not just me and some other local government, they were no longer approved. So that bottleneck procedures in the local government, apart from even the financial aspect that probably we may talk of later, hamper the administration of the local government.
All right, Kirian, we have another guest joining us from Kaduna. Maybe you want to introduce him this time?
Yes. He has just joined us, and we've just been able to establish link with our network studios in Kaduna. Mohammed Kabil Isa, a professor of governance and administration, Department of Local Governments and Development Studies, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. Professor Isa, it's good to have you join us from our Kaduna studio.
My pleasure to join you, Nigeria. Good morning.
We are interrogating local government autonomy in Nigeria in this particular edition, so we're glad to have you. Let's go to our next guest here in Abuja studio. What do you make of the viability of local government, and what is the bottleneck that has made it really difficult for us to have a functional and efficient local government administration in Nigeria for many years?
Thank you very much. I think coming from the background which you just highlighted here, first and foremost, let us appreciate Mr. President and, of course, the National Assembly for taking the bull by the horns this time around in order to pass, to have the to have the local government autonomy pass into law by the grace of God. The National Assembly deserve our commendation. The President of this country also deserve every support and applause. And then you can also hear from my colleague here, the former chairman of a local government in Edo State. We in the FCT, I think we are lucky. Lucky in the sense that we have a council that I can definitely say is autonomous. We are 100% free from all this kind of governors kind of way of doing things as far as local government is concerned. But be that as it may, I think it is better to let it clearly known that the best form of government that will affect me, my grandmother in the village, our parents in the village, is nothing but the local government. Apart from the center that, of course, take care of the security of this nation, the local government is the most important form of government. It's even better than what you call the state government. For me, if I have my way, I think the Constitution of this the Federal Republic of Nigeria should center more on one, the center, and two, the local government administration, because this is the government that on daily basis you come face to face with the people. You hear and know their demands and their challenges. So if you take away the people's flight and aspirations, then what is the government meant for? When you put in a governor, right, all he does is maybe the state kind of means of administering the governance. But of course, at the local council, that is where you have direct, concerns of the people. Is it water? That is this common borehole that the people need in the villages. Is this little grading of road that will link one village to the other? The governors don't do this. That is the basic truth. It is the local council that perform all these challenges. And so it is expected that when the local government have autonomy, they will perform better. I sympathize with my council officials, my colleagues in the states, wherein the governors load themselves on them. They don't even allow them to have any free flow of governance at all. They instead see them as just mere apparatus, appendages of, you know, their own kind of agencies. This isn't what we, you know, want to achieve as far as local government is concerned. So, and like I said, this is the best form of government we can ever achieve for the people, because 99% of the people, even Mr. President has a local government, the Vice President has a local government, all ministers, all senators, they have local government, and they cannot directly affect the people. It is their local government official that does this thing. They meet face-to-face on daily basis. For me, for instance, I chair the city council here, but I sleep, okay, with the people in the village. They see me on daily basis. On daily basis, as I wake up from bed, I come, you know, face-to-face with their challenges. I come to the office to get them addressed. If I'm addressing them, there is this kind of, if the monopoly is that the governors have to take charge of everything, then how can I perform? So I think one of the best things that will ever happen in this country, and as far as this National Assembly is concerned, before they wind up, you know, their tenure, is to ensure that the local government autonomy bill passes into law so that we can have a better and efficient local government administration in place.
All right, Honorable Candido, thank you very much. Let's go over to Kaduna, where Kirian introduced Professor Isa a moment ago. He's a professor of governance and administration in the Department of Local Governments and Development Studies at Ahmadu Bello University. Professor Isa, well, we have two guests already who have spoken to the issue of local government. Section 7 of the 1999 Constitution, the fourth schedule to the Constitution itself, which outlines the duties of local governments, plus the various state laws on local governments, provide ample provisions with regard to the existence and what local government are supposed to do. But the consensus nationwide is that since 1999, local governments have failed in Nigeria, which of course is the rationale for the Local Government Autonomy Bill. From your perspective, what has hindered the local governments from realizing their mandates and therefore being efficient?
Thank you very much. To take you back a little bit historical, the 1976 reform to local government was intended to bring government closer to the people. Again, the local governments have been bedeviled by certain historical antecedents, in the sense that every transition program begins with the local government. And decrees, for example, in the past, decree 32, 36, 38, were in fact named or tagged local government and basic transition decree. Now, so over the years, local government have assumed some significance, so that in politics and politicking, if you want to control state, you must control local government. If you want to control national politics, you must start from the local government and then control the state and then have impact at national level. So over the years, local government have become very significant in political permutations. And this has affected local government. But if you go back to the 1976 reform, the essence of the reform was to bring government far away from Abuja to Newi, to Etiosa, to Ilela, to Gamborungala, from Abuja to those areas, and from the epicenter of the state closer to the people, where there is real essence of governance. However, unfortunately, again, we need to define autonomy. There is political autonomy, there's administrative autonomy. Now, political autonomy borders on the type of election that takes place, on the type of candidates you put in office, and what have you. While administrative autonomy borders on operational, on functional, on finances, and funding of the local government. Now, the state government over the years have used Section 162, 162 to 168, and the subsisting subsection in the area of joint account, where national resources from federation account accruing to local government are shared at state level based on certain set criteria. Now, state governments over the years, particularly from 2003 to date, have used this instrumentality of the joint account to stifle the existence of local government, particularly in the area of funding. So if you look at the Constitution, particularly Section 7, which you mentioned, it clearly states the system of local government through democratically elected local government council is by this Constitution guaranteed. So you cannot have any other system of local government except through democratically elected local government council. However, between 2003 to date, I can tell you many states that have not conducted election since the election we had in 1998 that ushered in democracy. Only few states have had the energy and guts to conduct election at the local government level. So the local government, which is supposed to be the basis, the foundation of our democratic project, our democratic enterprise, is on a shaky foundation because many states have serially raped and violated the Constitution by not conducting election as and when due. So that's another point. So you have the issue of joint account, you have the issue of Section 7, where elections are really conducted. In fact, I can show you few states where elections since 1999 to date have only been conducted twice at the local government level, which is a shame on our democracy. And is an abuse to the Constitution because these governors have sworn with the Bible and the Quran to uphold the virtue and the spirit and the letters of the Constitution, but they have abused and raped Section 7 of the Constitution by stifling democratic projects at the local government level. And so in Nigeria, democracy begins at the local government level. All transitions, look at the history, starts from the local government level. And the Constitution has been abused, raped, by denying the existence of local government with caretaker committee, sole administrators, interim management. Now when you have this contraption, this abnormality, what you have is appointees dancing to the tunes of governors. They sign checks, they abuse the processes, and that is why you have in local government people that are not qualified. The local government is not even appealing to the requisite skills that are required to inject life, given the spirit of the objective of the 1976 reform, which is intended to move government close to the very basic and the foundation of Nigeria, which is the rural areas, the peri-urbans, the semi-urban areas, and of course municipalities and centers of governance in Nigeria. If you look, for example, refuse are hardly collected in Nigeria. Go to major cities, apart from perhaps Calabar, you find most urban centers are littered. This is the basic function of local government. Most Nigerians travel abroad. In Britain, for example, people want to obtain council houses. People want to go to council schools, council clinics. The same thing in US. The same thing in Canada. However, in Nigeria, the story is different. And people talk about restructuring. If we are to restructure Nigeria, because local government is the only basis which guarantees minority participation in politics, in governance, in funding and finances. Nigeria has more than 400 languages, more than 250 ethnic groups. How do you guarantee the participation of these ethnic groups, the participation of these dialects in governance? Through the local government. And
Professor Kabe, we will definitely return to you in the course of this program because you opened up new areas that should be very interesting in the course of the conversation. We will get back to you. For now, we will go to Enugu, where we have Honorable Anayo Nebe, who is a member representing Oka North and South Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, and also he was a former local government secretary. So I'm going to ask you this question, but before that, let's recall that in his inaugural speech on the May 29, 2015, the president noted the contentious issue of local government autonomy with emphasis on financial autonomy, and he did say that the relationship between Abuja and state should be clarified if we are going to govern Nigeria properly. And he's directing that to local government autonomy. You have been a secretary of local government and, of course, a member of the House of Representatives. Now, what's, in your opinion, are the encumbrances that have stifled the constitutional responsibility of the local government system in Nigeria?
Thank you, my brother. The issue is very complex. You talked about this National Assembly passing the Local Government Autonomy Bill. The bill was passed earlier by the last National Assembly. It was clearly passed by the both houses of the Senate and the House of Rep, the two houses. And when it came to getting to total support from the State House of Assemblies, it failed. Why did it fail? The National Assembly members are, to a very large extent, independent of their state governors. They are in a position to take decisions and implement their decisions. The principal officers, that's the speakers of the State House of Assembly and members of the State House of Assemblies, are dependent on the state governors. There's a saying that he who pays the piper dictates the tunes. So at each point, I just pray and hope. I don't want to be pessimistic, but I pray and hope that this current constitutional amendment will stay through in the State House of Assemblies. Let me just give you one clear instance. When I was Speaker of Anambra State, 2007-2011, the National Assembly passed the constitutional amendment for three major things: autonomy of local government, autonomy of the State House of Assembly, autonomy of the state judiciary. And we had speakers in Abuja, presided over by the then chairman of Conference of Speakers, the then Speaker of Taraba State. A communique was issued, signed by the then Speaker of Taraba, that every State House of Assembly must vote in support of autonomy of local government, autonomy of the judiciary, state judiciary, autonomy of State House of Assemblies. But when we went back to our respective states, it came as a very big shock that Taraba State voted against those three items. Taraba, it sounded very absurd that the speaker who was our chairman, who signed the communique, who presided over the meeting, and then went and voted against them. Why did he do that? The governor was on his governor was on his neck. And he felt he was faced by two sides, the devil and the Red Sea. Either to please the governor and then be getting whatever he feels he should be getting, or to please the people and then lose the governor's backing. And of course, he chose to please the governor. Anambra happened to be one of the few states that voted in support of autonomy of local government, autonomy of State House of Assembly, autonomy of the state judiciary. Now, this is the problem. Like one of my co-discussants said, that he's just pleading with the National Assembly to ensure that it goes through. The National Assembly has done its work. As it stands now, it's left for the State House of Assembly to do its work. What the President said at the inaugural speech is very good. But you know, this is a constitutional matter. The President cannot stay in the comfort of his office and say there should be state autonomy of House of local governments. It needs the approval of the National Assembly, which has been done. It needs the concurrent approval of the state assemblies, which we should now find a way of getting them. Getting the speakers to have courage to know that what is at stake is the welfare and well-being of our people, not that of the state governors. The greatest problem we have in the local government is this issue of state joint local government account. In most states, what operates now is that when allocation comes, if a local government, for instance, I'm from Okasa local government, if a local government is entitled to 100 million per month, the state will appropriate the 100 million, decide what projects to execute on behalf of the local government. In Anambra, we are somehow lucky that a lot of projects are done with the money. Projects are done, you see the projects. But in most states, when the money is being muzzled by the state government, they don't use it for any project. And the Constitution provides for local government joint account. So what I am saying in essence is that the first thing to be done is to find a way, plead to these current speakers of State House of Assembly to do the needful. Do the needful in the sense that they should go and pass these bills. It's just like when somebody is in detention, custody, and you ask the person, you have the option of coming out or remaining in custody. It will look very idiotic, very stupid and absurd for the person to say, I want to remain in custody. But that is what is happening in Nigeria. Because the autonomy affects the speakers, affects every Nigeria. The local government administration is the closest government, tier of government, to the grassroots. You have the federal government, you have the state government, you have the local government. This is the government of the common people. And at times, some people will come up with some very funny arguments that some of these local government administrators are not mature, they are not educated, that if you give them money, they abuse the office and embezzle the money. Fine. Who is the Pope here? If embezzlement is done at local government level, and because of that, people are saying, let the state control, what happens at the state level? What happens at the federal government level? What I am saying is that the speakers of the State House Assembly,
Honorable Anayo Dembe, let's pause you in the meantime and return to other guests to also give their views. Well, of course, get back to your good self in Enugu and Professor Issa in Kaduna. Gentlemen, first Felix Akaboy and Candido, the number of points that have been raised, perhaps it may also help to hear your views on what local government autonomy entails. That's one leg of it. The second leg is what we are dealing with now is a political question. Namely, the National Assembly has done its bit. 9 state houses of assembly have passed the bill. 3 have rejected them. That's Edo, Rivers, and Imo. 24 are still outstanding. Why is local government autonomy not a hot item for political parties and therefore be in a position to pressure their members who are in the various state legislatures to act according to the wishes of the political parties on whose platform they are in office? Honorable Akabo first.
Well, my brother from Enugu studio just spoke, who was a former speaker. The unfortunate thing is that legislators at the state level are not really independent of the state government. They are not independent of the state governors. The governors control the state House of Assembly to a great extent. And apart from that too, don't forget that even the Constitution still gave the House of Assembly a supervising role on the local government. And that supervising role is a conduit pipe to the local government finances. When they go to local government to visit local government, they know that the hard benefits they derive as a result of the roles, the supervisory role they play on the local government. So for that reason, they don't want the local government to go because of those benefits they are able to derive from the local government. Apart from the fact that even the state governors as well, because of that political grip, and because of that, you know, they are able to control the finance. Because even when people talk about joint account, I'm surprised when people talk about joint account. There's not like joint account, state, local government joint account. It is just, it's ambiguous when people say joint account. It is just state government account, because we are never signatory to it. When we say something is joint, it means that both the state and local government are joint signatory. So the state government sign the account. So the money goes into there, and the state government controls it. They sign alone. So we only invited to Jack meeting. This is the money that came from Abuja and all that. We had the meeting and all that. And there are things that are done at the state level. Oh, this is money for pensioners, this is money for this and all that. And some of those things that you don't budget. Because normally, on a yearly basis, the local government are supposed to come out with their budget based on what they want to do in the local government. And the Constitution makes it very clear that the money of local government shall be used within the jurisdiction of that local government. It's not like that in most cases. Because there are some projects that are conceived at the state level, across the state. So there are projects that are conceived by the state government at the state level. So you will get there and you discover that some of those funds are reduced or are removed at the state level, that this one is going to be used for this and all that. And so those of money, the money for the local government is not being used. So there are a lot of abuses of the Constitution. Money that are meant for a local government may not fully be used in that local government now because state government, they are a grip of the money goes to them. You can't even get access to the money until they release the money to you. So some of those money are used at the state level. Because the governor have that powers, because the fund goes to them, certainly you will expect that the governor will not let the local government go. That is why when people, I'm not surprised that the State House of Assembly are not cooperating. They are not cooperating because one, some of them, because of their political reasons, they want to go back a second time. They might want to go back again. And they know that the governor is the one that has the resources and the political power at the state level to either make them go back or not to go back. So, and as such, for personal interest, I would say because of their selfish interest, one, what they are benefiting from the local government because of the supervising role. Two, because of their selfish interest that they want to please the governor so that they can go back, or if they are not going back, they have appointment or one thing or the other for the governor. So for selfish reason, the state House of Assemblies, they are not supporting the bill to ensure that the local government have autonomy. And without autonomy, local government, I will tell you the truth, they can hardly operate. It's like, just like somebody, the person from Enugu mentioned. Yes, some people do believe that the administrators in local government, chairman, they don't have the capacity. But you see, these people that are the helm of affairs at local government level, they are our people. They are the people from the local government. And if they allow the people to elect them, because people talk of election at local government, there is really no election apart from the FCT. They are just appointee. So they appoint stood.
Thank you, I think we're coming to the point where I have to mention again what Honorable Nebel said earlier on, that it is complex. And the irony of it all is that the members of House of Assembly in the states were voted for by people from the local government. Right? And from what Ahibe said now, is the fact that for you to even get the ticket to become a member of House of Assembly, the governor has to endorse you. That is where the problem begins. So the issue of not passing the bill by State House of Assembly is well understood based on the political setting as you see it in Nigeria today. But Honorable Abdullahi Adamu Candido has a different experience because he operates in the FCT. Yeah. So some of these things they are saying could be alien to you. Now, under normal circumstance, you're operating under a normal circumstance, yeah. And we would like you to share with us, what it is like when a local government is autonomous financially and otherwise.
I think one of the best examples of autonomy, like I keep saying about local government, is FCT here. But far beyond that, you see, when you talk about the excesses of governors, okay, taking advantage of the authority they have over local governments, you first ask yourself, who are the governors? They must have come from the same people. You see, power is residual in the people. You can't be a governor if you're not elected. So there must be a pact between the people and who go to represent them. For instance, like I said, 99% of the people reside in the local government. They elect the president, they elect the governors, they elect the state assembly members, they elect the chairman. The people should be told to own up this power. You don't just go and vote for somebody who will now later become a problem to you. You should let them know that we have a case. And as far as we are concerned, we want a full autonomy of local councils, because this is the government that will reach us, will reach into our doorsteps. If you let the people know that this power resides in you, I'm telling you, they can take up the responsibility of ensuring that if you are not ready to do their bidding, they don't vote for you. Who is a governor? You can be you can be a governor. I can become a governor, and it is just a tenure thing. After 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, 6 years, and 7 years, you are gone. And therefore, it must be that the people are told the truth, that they own this power, and whoever governor that want to submerge you and make things difficult for your councils to get service, you do away with them. That is a simple thing, because we cannot continue to say, you know, Nigerians will pretend a lot. We don't tell ourselves the truth. What is the truth? We want service. We want the service to reach to the doorstep of the people. And there is somebody who calls a governor that does not allow this service to reach to the people. You put him aside. That's no big deal about that. You understand? And therefore, the most important is to let the people own up this power. The power resides in them. They can make you, they can as well or make you. That is the best thing. And the moment we have this kind of things put in place, you say we should be wiser by the day. Nigeria is getting deepened in democracy. We should be told that this power resides in you, not in the governor. Who is a governor? A governor is just an individual like you. And if he tries to make things difficult for you, you do away with him. He's not going to stay there perpetually in office. He must give way. And if you discover that he's not doing the right thing, like I keep saying, the government of the people resides in the local councils. Yes, we must appreciate, like I keep saying, I appreciate the National Assembly for taking this bold step.
I'm not posing you.
Okay.
Right. No, but some governors say that all the roads that they build across the state, you know, are also in local governments. There are some projects.
It's because they have refused the local government to do their work. For instance, I administer area council. I don't just grade road. I asphalt the road. You can go all over the local council, you see what I'm doing. I provide so many things that if you see them, you may think it is state government administration that does them. It is the local council, it is the area council that is doing them.
Honorable Candido, let's pause you now. Okay. Kirian, you raised the point about local governments and state governments claiming that, of course, these roads are also, you know, in the state. I would like Professor Issa, because he was giving a historical background to local governments, to speak to this issue. Professor Issa, now, in the course of the various local government reforms that we have had in the country, I recall during the military era of military President Ibrahim Babangida, local governments suddenly were up to their mandate. In Lagos, for instance, you had that Lagos Island, you had the late Prince Adeniji Adele, who was working flat out, Ikeja local government, Apapa local government, Shomolu, and several other places. Even in the old Bender state, Lucky Igbenedion was chairman of Oedo local government. Indeed, it was part of his accomplishments as local government chairman that facilitated his election subsequently in 1999. So what was it that local governments were able to achieve at that time that now state governments are mostly pretending that they don't have enough resources and therefore have to purloin the resources of local governments?
Thank you very much. By 1988-89, the then president, Ibrahim Babangida, started a constitutional program. And part of the mandate was that he was going to introduce presidential system of government. And the litmus test of presidential system of government was to start at the local government level. So between 89, 90, 91, 92, we had the presidential system of government introduced at the local government level as a litmus test of the transition program to introduce effective executive presidential system at the state and national level. And so we had for about 3-4 years, executive local government chairman existing at the local government level. To a point between 1991-92, the then president cancelled the existence of Ministry for Local Government, and which, for a very important point I want to emphasize, the state government used the Ministry for Local Government to stifle the operations and the functions of local government level, at the local government level in the state. And they used the Local Government Service Commission as well. Of course, the then president counciled the Local Government Service Commission, counciled the Ministry for Local Government, and made it a directorate of local government under the then, you know, there was a hierarchy in operation. So you had a military governor and a civilian deputy governor under the then Babangida administration. So the directorate of local government was made either under the office of the deputy governor or the office of the governor. And so you had a full-blown for that, there are local government officials that have been indicted as a result of audit report. So if we want and we are serious about local government autonomy, we should clip or reduce the powers of Ministry for Local Government and then reduce the powers of the Local Government Service Commission, but not cancel them totally out of existence. You can bring them under a state Ministry of Intergovernmental Affairs and have a commissioner control all of these, including Pilgrims Board and so on and so forth. You join them under Intergovernmental Affairs and have them under one ministry, and that will be okay. And then you give local government the autonomy and empower the Office of Auditor General for local government to do pre-audit and post-audit of local government accounts. And you have local government autonomy. And then under the Babangida administration, there was no joint account. Local governments had accounts in CBN. Immediately allocations were done. Monies accruing to local government were posted directly into their accounts. And then the then government funded the local government by giving them stabilization fund, development fund from time to time, and some major intervention funds, which helped this local government then to achieve what they were able to achieve. So this is the point that needs to be made. Now, very importantly, if we are serious today about granting local government autonomy, the NLC, which NOLGE is a major body of, that is the National Union of Local Government Employees, should, just like it made the minimum wage a very key important aspect. We are approaching election. NOLGE and NLC should rise up and make this issue of autonomy assume agenda status. Any governor that denies local government its existence by denying it autonomy. Because when you deny autonomy, you deny the existence of local government, meaning that you stifle the local government by the truth and deny them their existence. That government or governor should be voted out of office. And NOLGE should go around their states and make this a major election agenda status. That any State House of Assembly member that votes against local government autonomy should be voted out of office. Because the basis of his being in the State House of Assembly is the local government. And he's denying the existence of the local government. The people in his constituency should vote him out and put people who will go and protect their interests in the State House of Assembly. And the governor, likewise. So there are many structures and institutions that governors use in stifling the existence. So it's not just the joint account. The issue of joint project is that projects are pre-designed, preconceived, making the Legislative Council mere symbolic institutions in the local government. Because when you talk about local government autonomy from the political dimension, local government councils, through their councillors, are supposed to approve their estimates, their budgets. And once these budgets are passed into law, it should not go to the State House of Assembly. It should go to the Ministry of Justice for gazetting. And it becomes law and is appended to the state budget, state plan, because the basis of state socio-economic planning is the local government planning and the local government budget. The national planning depends on the state planning. The state planning depends on the local government planning. But all of these are taken away from the local government. The state does the planning on behalf of the local government. In fact, there are states collecting constitutional revenue assigned to local government, like motor parks. Markets have been hijacked by state government. These are constitutional areas of local government. They've been hijacked by state. There are states who even use market, property rates, and tax to borrow loans from international finances to fund their internal project. Now, please, let's also be clear. There are local government roads. There are state roads. There are federal highways. So it's a lie for state government to claim that they are doing state roads for local government roads. These are clear. There are policies of the state, of the federal government, which clearly delineate local government roads, state roads, and federal roads. So what projects are the state claiming they have done for local government? Let's be very clear. The fourth schedule of the 1999 Constitution clearly delineates the area and the functions of local government and the financial or physical jurisdictions of local government. Most tax in motor parks contribution by collecting local government revenue and are charging the local government for collecting of. Of course, the local government have their challenges too. They are unable to collect these taxes appropriately. They are not efficient and effective. It's because the requisite manpower that is required for local government to do this job effectively and efficiently are not attracted because of remuneration. So when we do autonomy, we must also re-engineer the local government, make them robust, compact, because local government should not be an employment generation center. Over the years, just like the issue of primary school employment, when politicians come, they just bundle people into local government and give them fake salaries. And
Professor, it's a very pertinent points you have raised there. And we have been also digesting what you are saying, because it made a lot of sense. Kingsley, you recall that in the beginning of the 1999, from 1999 to about 2003, we were hearing then of zero allocation by local government. Zero allocation. So what went wrong between what was obtained during IBB administration and 1999? That's the other area we're going to look into when we return from this short break, as we continue to broadcast Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the NTA for this Monday.
Okay, I'm okay.
What happened?
It's just a little scratch, Mom. How can I play with bigger boys if I'm afraid of little scratches, right?
What comforts a mother most is to see her child growing up.
Done, I'll go.
Of course. But I know that as he learns to be brave, he'll face even more germs and the risk of infection.
That's why you need Dettol protection, because Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity.
All right, you're welcome back to Good Morning Nigeria. We're live on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. Kieran, just before we continue with the conversation, let's bring in our viewers who are sending in their tweets in torrents. We'll take most of them right now and then continue. Ortega has this tweet. Now, government should set aside their differences and make local government autonomy work. This is the secret, or this will be the secret to a great Nigeria.
Now, DW Nigeria Limited, local governments have never been autonomous in Nigeria's history.
Well, that's part of what Professor Issa was just discussing a moment ago, that indeed we have had local governments who have functioned efficiently in the past. Now, this is from Marisha Monday. Now, if Nigeria's democracy must survive, local government autonomy shouldn't be negotiated. All right, Festus Akimboy, a strong local government system will hasten the development of Nigeria, and only its autonomy can achieve this. The term local government, as it is now in our country, is a misnomer, because only few Nigerians understand the powers, rules, functions, and responsibilities of our local government. To make the local government fit for purpose, it must be rescued from the clause of state governors. And this is coming from Ali Baba May. It says, local government autonomy will be a welcome development, and indeed is long overdue. As a third tier of government and the closest to the people, it deserves independence from the state government. And so it will go a long way in solving the many problems of the people at this lower level of governance. Victor Ihosumwa, the need for local government autonomy cannot be overemphasized. It will obviously bring development to the grassroots. But some governors have become obstacles to constitutional amendment that will give effect to local government autonomy, as they are in control of the state houses of assembly. Now, Husseina Ahmed tweets, if Nigeria is ready to practice true federalism, local governments as the third tier of government must be autonomous. Now, Queen Cleo, if local government has been given autonomy for a long time now, most communities would have been developed by now. The autonomy is necessary. Dele Jack Solomon, Nigeria's constitution specifies the powers of each level of government so that there will be harmony and mutual cooperation in the administration of the system, such that no tier of government will be jeopardized. But today the reverse is the case. Most local governments are neglected. Now, Ononye Victor says local government autonomy will solve at least 60% of our developmental
problems in the grassroots. Unfortunately, the various state governors are not helping matters because of corruption and personal interest.
Abdul Musa tweets, now I'm in agreement with local government autonomy, but there must be a framework to supervise and check their performance. Experience in the past with some local governments that were autonomous left much to be desired.
Now, Delajak Solomon, apparently it is corruption that led to the relegation of local governments to the grip of state governments over the years, thereby distorting and demeaning the real status of our federalism with regards to devolving governance, good governance, empowerment, and development at the grassroots.
Onoye Victor tweets, now there's nothing wrong with the constitutional provisions on local governments. It is one of the 3 tiers of government. Now what is really wrong is the untoward attitude of most state governors who have hijacked local government funds and refuse to conduct local government elections.
All right, let's have this from Mike Anyako. That's actually the last but not the least that we have, which is where he raised a very important thing, Kingsley. Yes. He said, we fought very hard to get this democracy and can't afford to lose it on the altar of local government autonomy. We all knew what happened between 1999 to 2003, which I referred to earlier on, when we have a zero allocation, when full autonomy was in place. Complete disaster. It was various state governments that came to the rescue. Local government autonomy is an aberration. I think he's making reference to, of course, there was a time when local government chairmen were lots in this country. You know, they have a long convoy and what have you, living in affluence. It did happen, actually.
So what is the potential abuse in granting autonomy to local governments?
Let's put that question to Honorable
Nebe. What is the potential for abuse? Governors are often referred to these days as emperors. So if local governments have autonomy, are we not likely to see many more emperors?
Thank you, my brothers. That was why I said earlier that the issue is very complex. The most important thing, let me just go back a bit on the issue. One, it is wrong to say clearly that the State House of Assemblies will not support autonomy of local governments, autonomy of the state judiciary, now an autonomy of the State House of Assembly. Out of the 12 states that have voted, 9 voted in support. It's only 3 that voted against. The implication is that this set of speakers seem to be more courageous, more focused, and more patriotic than our sets and the other sets. They seem to be more daring. That's one point I want to clarify. Then the other point is that the potentials of the abuse of the autonomy of local government. There is no tier of a government that is not prone to abuse. There is no managerial point that is not prone to abuse. And you don't have to say because there's likelihood of abuse, the likelihood of a local government chairman moving in convoy, that because of that, you tie the local government to the state government. There is always checks and balances. You have the anti-corruption agencies, and it is very clear. Some of these governors know now that you will be a governor, you live on heaven or earth. At the end of your tenure, if you are found wanting, you end up in prison. Therefore, any reasonable person will always know that at the end of the day, if there's any misadventure on your side, you go to prison. So, in essence, what I'm saying is that there is need for the autonomy to come. And then there's likelihood that when people are appointed, we are Nigerians. We won't bring people from heaven to elect them local government chairmen or supervisors. If they are elected, there will be temptation for them to commit 1 or 2 bad things. But if we have enough built into the system, they will be monitored and controlled. So whatever misfortune we will get from the autonomy is insignificant compared to the benefits. So people may say, if you elect people, young men, they'll go there, steal money. If you don't elect them, and the money comes there, somebody steals the money. And when he's stealing the money, he doesn't owe people anything. It's not responsible to the people of the local government area. But if you have a local government chairman, just like my brother Candido said, he wakes up in the morning with his people, he goes to office and addresses them. And when the money is allocated, because like Amak is a mini state. I envy that place. In fact, I was always saying that if I had the opportunity of being local government secretary then, when I was in Anambra, I would have been very happy. But he has been able to do that because he is part of and parcel of that area. But when you don't have autonomy, you make somebody in the ministry, maybe somebody from a local government that is very far from the local government where he is dispensing that fund. He doesn't have any commitment. Tomorrow he leaves the office and nobody goes hold of him. But if the local government chairman that's elected, if tomorrow he mess up, he'll go back to his people and stay. And in our area, if he goes up and he has not performed, what they will do, they'll put him in the vigilante group. In the night, they will say you should come and be part of the security outfit because he has not done anything. So the summary of what I'm saying with regards to the intending supposed and likely abuse that will come is that it is better for us to have autonomy. Whatever abuse that will come, once we have enough checks and balances built into the system, it will be taken care of. It will be clearly be taken care of. And let us not be very utopic. If we are talking of abuse, well, is there any type of government that we don't have abuse? Have we said, let us scrape state government or tie it to the federal, so because some of the governors are corrupt? Or have we said, let us reduce the powers of the federal government because some of the federal government officials are corrupt or and are abusing the system? There are some states that are lucky. There are some states that are unlucky. And those states that are unlucky, if you elect a chairman there and the chairman is on the same line with the governor and the senate, in terms of reasoning, they will render service to their people. They will be responsible.
All right, Honorable Adayodebe, thank you very much. Let's also get the thoughts of Honorable Candido on the point that has been raised with regard for the potential for abuse. Because, I'm sorry, I use this analogy. They say if you tether a dog for a long time and suddenly you free it, you can see the speed with which it will move, and sometimes if it's not careful, it will run into a vehicle that will crush it. So what is the potential for abuse and how might that be checked?
It all depends on persons. You see, I always try to make myself as a personal point of reference. E.g., I stay off the city in a village called Jiwa. I more often than not drive myself to, through the rigors of the hold up and whatever and get to the office and work. Not to stop me from becoming the chairman of the area council. I don't need to go through all this kind of barrage of a security outfit and whatever, and then before I call myself a chairman. I don't need that. And therefore, you see, I want to agree that, yes, some people, you know, misuse the opportunity. And therefore, you find the tendency where a chairman, ordinarily a chairman of a local government that is just given a 3-year tenure, seeing himself as a tin god within the locality. He goes with, vehicles as if he's a governor. Even if you're a governor, you don't need such a thing.
And the chairman's wife is also the first lady of the
yes,
local government.
I don't have that in my own template. I don't have any first lady. The first lady, if you wish to be, she should go and contest election and become a chairman or a chairwoman. I'm the chairman. My wife is my wife, and that is she's at home. I don't need her to come and begin to take charge of the local council. What is she coming to do? I take charge of the council and do the job and do what is expected of me. That is all.
All right. Time is actually not on our side. Let's turn to Felix Akabo. You've been a local government chairman and, of course, secretary of the umbrella body of all local government chairmen. Now, what does this abuse mean to you? Because within the period in question, I think you were in power. Was there abuse? If there was, what is the magnitude?
Well, when people talk of abuse, I wonder what they really mean by abuse. A good man, as far as I know, a good man is a good man, a bad man is a bad man, irrespective of the position you find yourself. Don't forget, local government is not the only form of administration that is in Nigeria. And I'm happy that there are people in Nigeria today who have been local government chairmen today, who are members of House of Reps, who are senators, and who are even governors. And if the person who was in local, it was somebody that had been the local government chairman, abuses the process or abuses the office while he was in office as chairman. So certainly when he occupied other position, he would do same. So to me, as a local government chairman, I believe that I was elected to perform my duties. And the beauty of democracy is that there's always tomorrow. If you occupy a position and you don't do well, you may have reason to face your people tomorrow. If you are not going to face your people, you may have reason to introduce somebody to also face your people. So the people will vote them out. So that is the beauty of democracy. So to me, abuse of office should not be the basis of talking of why local government should be autonomous or why they should not be autonomous, so that people once abuse office. Yes, there is no office that is not being abused. I'm sure that there are so, we are talking of the governors who are swear to abide by the Constitution of Nigeria, different ways that have built the Constitution. It is very clear in the Constitution that we must have elected persons at the local government level. And we have agreed that so many states, in so many states today, local governments are being administered by administrators, caretaker committee, cronies of the governors, in variance with the provision of the Constitution. Is that not abuse by the governors? So, and it's also happening in different areas. Even when we talk about civil servants as well, civil servants have abused their offices. Some of the problems we even have at the local government level are even the civil servants as well. Because I was an administrator, at least I was a chairman, and I know what the civil servants are doing. Projects are supposed to be done, because one, the local government chairman is not actually the one that value projects. So it is the department, engineering department, and all that. At times, when they value a project, you will be surprised how they come about the violation. So even the civil servant at the local government level, they also abuse their office. So the issue of when you talk of autonomy, you're not talking of abuse of office, should not even arise at all.
All right. Felix Akaboy, thank you very much. You've made some very valuable points along with the other guests. Let's go to Professor Kabir Issa again in our Kaduna Network studios. And of course, this will obviously be also your closing thoughts. Now, some persons have argued that there should be a linkage between local government autonomy as well as the abrogation of the State Independent Electoral Commissions on account of the fact that the shenanigans that we have seen with regard to the conduct of local council elections by those State Independent Electoral Commissions would persist if you had just mere financial autonomy. From that perspective, what is your thought? That is one. And then what deeper meaning would local government autonomy take if the states still have their respective state local government laws under which they have all kinds of mechanisms for control?
Thank you very much for that wonderful question. First, on the issue of INEC. Unfortunately, the system of local government over the history that has performed, or the best, if you like, era of local government performance occurred in eras where local government elections were conducted by the National Electoral Commission, not by the state. You had limited interference. And I'll give you an example. The 1998 era of local government chairmen that were elected had about 3 or 4 professors. I trained them in Abuja, and they had about 40 people with PhDs across the 774 local government, and they were very powerful. It was that set of local government that gave 774 Algon jeeps to all the 774 divisional police headquarters in their various local government without governor's approval. It was that same set of chairmen who built the Algon Secretariat in Abuja without the approval of governors. They were the set of local government chairmen who appointed Joseph Jella of Hong local government as chairman of Algon, and they had unfettered access to the presidency and the villa, and they were able to deduct money at source to build their Algon Secretariat, I think between 200 to 400 million naira. So they had some degree of autonomy because their election is derived from the National Electoral Commission. Now, if you go back to the spirit and letters and the theory of our federalism and how we ought to practice federalism in Nigeria, the National Electoral Commission is supposed to conduct election for the national government and the state government, while the state government has been given the power to conduct election for local council. Unfortunately, if you look at practice from 2003 to date, the state have left us with abysmal performance, with nothing to write home about. So many people are forced to demand that the National Electoral Commission, for now, conduct election at the local government council. That I'm ready to comply with, to accept. because it also negates the spirit and the fundamentals of our, principles of federalism, because the state are supposed to have some powers to do certain things. But when the states abuse these powers, misuse these powers, then it leaves us with no choice as a people, as a country. Remember, Nigeria is a country of minorities. There are just three major ethnic groups out of about 257. Only three are dominant. The rest are minority. How do you assuage from the Willings Commission report? How do you allow minorities to feel being part of government? The local government is the only structure that can allow minority be part of government in Nigeria. Let them also have a share of the national cake. Now, where the local government is stifled, then all these farmers had this conflict, and what have you, will rear its head. And unfortunately, there's this not too young bill that's been approved. Sardauna worked at the local government level. Tafawa Balewa worked at the local government level. Most of our nationalists worked at the local government level. The not too young guys should start from local government. They should go and be councillors, go and be chairmen, showcase their performance, then we send them to state level. From state level, we send them to national. But you see somebody of 17, 18, 20 years with secondary school wants to be president when he has nothing to show us. His local government is there, it has failed. Not too young. Go and be young in your local government. Be councillors. Be chairman of your local government first. Let's see you perform. Then we send you up and we graduate you on that level. You enter university, we move you from 100 to 500 level. Start from local government. All our nationalists that we celebrate, we adore today, operated and worked at the local government level. And that's...
Yes, thank you indeed, Professor Issa. You have really made your point, because for some of us who have political science training, local government is the incubation, stage. If you want to be a politician, that is where you begin. It's fundamental. From there, you graduate to state and then the federal. But it does seem, from what we discussed this morning, that there is a kind of a structural defect. It worked before, and it's not working now. Something happened in between. There's a disconnect somewhere. But that's the story for another day. For now, we are concluding today's edition of Good Morning Nigeria. And at this point, I'd like to appreciate Honorable Abdullahi Adamu Candido, the Honorable Chairman of Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC, in the Federal Capital Territory. He's not experiencing any difficulty in getting his funds. Thank you for sharing your thoughts this morning. All right, Felix Akabu, former National President, Association of Local Government of Nigeria, and of course, a one-time chairman of Southwest Local Government Area of Edo State. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Good morning, Nigerians.
And Honorable Anayo Nebe, former Speaker, Anambra State House of Assembly, and now member of the House of Representatives. He was also a former local government secretary. It's been nice hosting you this morning on Good Morning Nigeria. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Very much. Good morning, Nigeria.
Finally, from Kaduna, Professor Mohammed Kabir Issa, it's been wonderful sharing your thoughts, this morning on Good Morning Nigeria. It's been nice having you.
Good morning, Nigeria.
Now, let's go to foreign news before we wrap it up.
Theresa May said to her critics that getting rid of her as the Prime Minister of Britain will not make delivering Brexit any easier. She defended last week's draft agreement for leaving the EU and said the week coming is going to be critical for them. She suggested agreeing more details of UK's future relationship with the EU ahead of the expected summit next week could satisfy the concerns of some of the Tories MPs opposed to her plans. And from France, the president has called for closer ties between his country and Germany, saying Europe has the obligation not to let the world slip into chaos. Reports have it that President Emmanuel Macron is in Berlin for the country's annual day of mourning for victims of war. In a speech to Germany's parliament, President Macron said Europe must not become a plaything of great powers, saying he wants a more integrated EU with a joint Eurozone budget. Elsewhere in Iraq's reports have it that a car bomb explosion has killed at least 5 civilians and wounded 16 others in the northern city of Tikrit. There were no immediate claims for the attack, though ISIS has claimed responsibility for several recent attacks in Iraq.
All right, that's the much that we can take on Good Morning Nigeria today. Of course, it's been a very interesting conversation that we had with all our guests, and indeed for the one segment that we're able to take. We're back tomorrow, same time, 7 o'clock in the morning. Until then, we wish you the very best for today. But on tomorrow, Kira, by the way, it's a public holiday.
Yes.
But Good Morning Nigeria is on. I'm Kingsley Osadolo.
And I'm Kirian Umar. Have a great day.